directly above the Hollywood sign, it's ChrenBen's Friend Trends with Aaron Crennan and Ben Lepley, the working model of a healthy friendship.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the ChrenBen's Friend Trends podcast. My name's Aaron Crennan, and as always, I'm alongside my best friend, Ben Lepley. How you doing, Ben?
Bud, I'm actually, I just got over a crazy head cold.
Oh, I know.
Been doing CrossFit, so I'm super sore.
Oh, God.
So I'm actually...
What's wrong with your life? Or right?
I'm just like, things are on the up and up, working out, not sick, but like still in that like post-sick phase. So like I can't move. I feel like I can't get a full breath through my nose. So I'm going to really need you to carry the weight on this podcast.
I can carry it. And along with me to help me carry it is Tom Blank. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing good. Not as good as Ben. CrossFit, very impressive.
You know what? I haven't done that many yet. So let's give it another week and see if I just bail on the whole thing, which is 99% impossible.
How many have you done?
I've done 3 sessions in total.
Three's good.
Yeah.
It was one of them the evaluation session? I went into an evaluation.
No. Actually, that's funny. I was going to say 4, but I was like, I better not count the evaluation session.
Okay, yeah, because I would have called you on it.
What happens during the evaluation session?
It's like 20 minutes long.
Is it like a meat market? You're
they
like,
see how long or I'm wrong. It's, for me at least, they show you how to do a push-up right, how to do a pull-up right, how to do rows right.
But the hidden meaning is we're here to show you're out of shape. Right? Because they're like, do push-ups for as long as you can or something like that. It was like 2 minutes.
No, mine was just timing me to do, like, they were like, do 10 of this, do 20 of this, do 30 of this.
That is how it went.
And they're like, we're just going to time you, and we're going to just see how quickly it takes you to get through. And actually, I will say, like, I'm totally out of shape, but I did that, and the guy was like, oh, you didn't do a horrible job. Like, you could do a little better, but you're not like in bad shape. And then I did the first night very confidently because I was like, well, I killed that evaluation session.
The email, which is like, yeah, this is how they get business in the door.
Right. And then I was just like, it's like vomit constantly on the edge of my throat. Like, couldn't like bend my lower back. It was a nightmare, but I was so cocky going in because I was like, evaluation session was a breeze, you know?
Well, each one of those CrossFit... Are we going to talk about CrossFit the whole time?
It's going to turn into CrossFit.
It's just like CrossFit an infomercial right now. But I felt like she was like, oh, we're very, very interested in safety. And I'm going through the exercises and the way they told me to. And I don't know, she's checking her phone and she's, doing her thing. But slowly my form's going worse and worse, even to the point I'm saying, oh, this is actually hurting me to do this. This can't be safe. But she never said anything at the end. So I felt like, at least the place I went to, I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Did you go to someplace in Hollywood or?
No, it was up here in the valley.
Yeah, that's where Ben goes, right? Somewhere in the valley.
What's it called? Oh, well, we don't want to. Can you beep it out?
Yeah, beep it out.
Yeah,
it's called. Yeah, we'll beep it out. It's called Evoke.
No, I would never go to a place like with a name like that.
Fuck you, Tom.
Did you wear tights that were like spangled?
You know what, Tom? This podcast is over.
Wait. I want to hear the manly motherfucking place Tom Blank with to go to CrossFit.
I don't remember.
If it's not like horsepower or something.
It was called like Thunderbolt Stallion.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I don't remember what it was called.
I will say, every time I go to Evoke, I'm always like, this is the weirdest name. Because it's not like, it's like super like...
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, no. But it's like a bunch of like hardcore guys, and it's like, it's very like it's in an industrial area, kind of. It's a big garage. It's like a lot of concrete and metal. And even the logo is kind of badass, but then it's like, the name is Evoke. It's just like,
where you get some hand sanitizer and lotion every time you come visit.
Yeah, no.
You can slather.
It was strictly based on location. I just wanted something that wasn't too far away.
Well, that's the best choice, they say. Well, I say, too.
They don't say that, do they? It's just you.
I say that. I try to give it some credibility by adding they.
Well, I'm excited to keep the listeners updated on my CrossFit journey.
I'm just glad you're feeling better. We're sorry that we left everyone hanging last week without a podcast.
Right, I know. People were really upset. We got a lot of tweets.
A lot of emails.
Where's our podcast?
And they call it ours, as though they're part of this community. That's very nice.
When you've arrived.
Yeah.
That's when you've arrived. Congratulations, you guys.
Well, I have a story to tell today that is completely unrelated to anything we've talked about thus far. So it's probably not going to go over too well with you guys.
So wait, it's not about stallions or
thunderbolts.
evoking?
I'm just looking at Tom as I say, like, I have a story that's kind of unrelated to this stuff, and his face got so disappointed.
I really wanted to hear about some
You wanted to hear
powerlifting.
Maybe I can go do something while Ben tells a story.
You want to hear a workout tale?
No. Tell whatever you have in your
good,
mind, Ben.
good. Thank you.
We'll make the link. We'll do the heavy lifting here.
Good one. Heavy lifting. Already working.
He's already connecting
Guys,
it.
let's make this a pun episode.
We go from 0 listeners to somehow negative listen. People are forcing us to listen to it over and over again to make up the difference.
All right, go.
The podcast people. Okay. I had one other thing I wanted to throw out before I tell the story. Then I promise I'll jump in. But TLC, Tom Lepley Crennan, also Tender Love and Care. I thought of that this morning as I got out of bed. I was like,
nice.
oh, Tom's coming to do the podcast. And I just wanted to...
Also, the Learning Channel.
Also, the Learning Channel.
TLC.
What? I'm fucking with you. I know what the Learning Channel is.
Oh my God, he
Oh my
totally
God.
got you.
Well, I started.
Hook,
I said,
line,
did
and
I check
sinker.
out for a second? I got the wrong acronym in my head. Oh my God. Oh my God. Run.
Wait.
Run, Tom.
Wait, a Learning Channel? ALC.
Oh, wait. Anyway.
Did you say 08 or 08? Like 2008?
I really think. I don't know where my brain was for the last 10 seconds, so let's pretend it didn't happen. Just go forward, Ben.
We'll say we'll cut it out, but we won't. So...
We're going to cut all that out.
Yeah, all that. My tale. When I was probably in, I guess I was in college, my cousin got married, and she got married in Houston, and I hadn't really been before. We went down. It was super hot, super muggy, and we had a full day before the wedding started. So me and 2 of my younger cousins, we were just bored and hot and looking for something to do. My cousins John and Sam. They're about 4 years younger than me, not that it matters. But we decided to just sort of hit the town and see what we could find to do. Couldn't find a thing. So we found this mall, and when all else fails, Midwesterners tend to just go mill around malls for a while. Actually, I think the last time you were on the podcast, we were talking about malls. So we were like, well, a Houston mall, this will be interesting. Go into the mall, walk around.
I'm so interested in other towns' malls. Because when I describe malls that I go to, and they're like, well, did you have this store? And that's clearly their staple store in their mind. And it's like, well, no. And they're like, how do you live?
Aaron and I could probably talk about malls we've been to for 12 hours and not get bored.
I know, because I think we spent an hour last time.
And add 11 more and you're set.
But I am not of the same ilk. You were there with your cousins, you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There were 2 cousins?
Yeah, John and Sam.
How old were they?
They were 4 years younger.
Okay. I just wanted to cover that.
Are you recapping?
The last we left Ben, he was entering a Houston
One
mall.
of the things about this podcast I've noticed is that Aaron and I throw in a lot of details like that have no bearing on anything.
Because that to me is like, I gotta hang on to all this. Critical. One of them dies. I'm sure of it.
You really
Ben
don't.
says
You need to know the 4-year difference. It's critical to the punchline.
We have a lot of red herrings that we throw out. You got to listen to all of them. And
people like that. People like that when the rope is very frayed and you can't tell. You can't tell.
I love calling them red herrings because really what it is terrible storytelling, but we're just justifying it.
This is also part of bad storytelling where we've completely forgot the story. Let's get back to it. You're entering the mall.
We're in the mall. Actually, I mean, it hasn't really heated up yet, so now I'll jump ahead to where the story truly begins. This is all background. So we're at the mall, walking around, bored.
John and Sam.
Yeah, John, Sam, 4 years younger. Me in probably college. Is that right? All right, really. So in our boredom, we discover that there's something at this mall in Houston called the Water Taxi Tour. And we're like, oh, well, is this like a ride? And I love rides. Like if I could find like a motion simulator or like just anything that could be constituted as a ride, I'm set for a while. So it's like, well, if there's a ride at this mall, like a Camp Snoopy sort of thing, then I'm good for the rest of the afternoon.
Side note, what's your lowest... What's
the lowest point of my life right now?
No. The lowest, like, if you go on a taxi, do you consider it a ride? Like, at what point is it? There's got to be an entertainment level at which it becomes a ride.
It's a water taxi, not a taxi.
Water taxi to me is well above my threshold for that's a cool ride.
Yeah, for sure.
You said when you go on anything, you feel like it's a ride.
No. Whenever I have the possibility of going on a ride, so like if there is the potential of a ride in my future, then I can. Like we live very close to Universal Studios. Like I'm good to spend an afternoon going on one ride there.
again and again and again.
Yeah, or just going on one ride once, leaving, like to kill an afternoon. You know what I mean?
Are rich,
Yeah.
my friend. You have like
no.
a
We have the
pass,
annual
don't you?
pass. Oh yeah, you get an annual pass at Universal Studios if you buy a ticket
Like
for
I said,
1 day.
you
of
are
entry.
rich. No, it is. It's the same price. It's for locals.
Yeah.
So you're a water taxi, which sounds amazing.
There's a sign that says water taxi, and the ride is $12, which is a little bit steep, but we're like, we got nothing else to do, so
This
we
is
go.
at a Houston mall.
Mm-hmm. So there's a trench that's been built around the mall. This is where it gets
Just
so.
when you say an entertainment ride, you start with a trench.
This is
like that's not. There's no
this-
longer
this is-
recreation.
World War I recreation.
This is literally fascinating to me. The mechanics of this thing. They've built like a trench that is the width of a small boat that goes around the entire mall. And I don't know, like when we pulled into park, I think I saw it and I just thought it was like part of a fountain. Like I thought it was just like a stream from.
What is it? 9-10 feet wide? It's got to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's the exact width of the water taxi,
And
which
when
is
you say
it's like.
trench. I feel like it's unimproved sides. It's literally someone on a.
Oh, you
weekend
mean
just-
like dirt sides? Like no.
Well, that's what a trench
You know what?
is.
It's not okay. Thank you. It's not a trench. It's a moat. It's like a
channel.
You know the L.A. River.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like
it
the
is
LA River.
The L.A. River.
It's a lined channel. It's an engineered channel.
It's an
From
engineered
now on
channel.
in this podcast, I'd like you to refer to it as an engineered channel.
Oh, much like the engineering channel when we had our friend Igor over. Oh, wait. Whatever name's
ELC.
Eugene. Yeah.
So this engineered mechanized. Wait, what'd you say?
Engineered channel.
And this engineered channel. There's water in it, but it's not deep at all. And this water taxi is like it's like an open pontoon thing that has. It's so hard. I actually didn't even think about how difficult this would be to explain. This open-aired white pontoon that has like 4 posts and a tarp on top of it, so
Is
you'll be
any
in
of
the
this
shade.
relevant, or is this like the?
No, I'm just trying to paint the picture for you guys.
All right.
So
I appreciate it.
there are also here's the best. There are 2 men on this boat, and they are in captain's uniforms, like airline captain's uniforms. And there is one man has 3 stripes on his shoulders, and one man has 2 stripes. So that means that this water taxi has ranks.
I like it.
There's like a captain and a lieutenant.
I like it.
So
Wait, I have a question. Was the guy in 3 stripes larger as a human?
yes, he was taller,
I
taller and older.
I wonder. Okay,
It's
older.
casting.
I was gonna
That's what it
say.
is. It's casting.
I was gonna say, like, because what if the extra large is like that's the 3?
Oh,
and, like,
I see what you mean. It's the shirt size.
It just might
that's
be the
interesting
shirt
because
size.
normally clothing they don't put their size on the outside of the shirt.
Oh no, I'm just
anyway,
saying
but-
maybe it's like it's big enough that like we need more stripes. To
Oh no,
make
the
it
stripe.
look good.
Listen, the cloth that the stripes are on, they were the same size, so
Oh, okay.
that doesn't matter. I mean, like,
I'm glad we drilled down on that. What do you think the cloth was?
I'd say probably like 2 inches, 3 inches,
No, the material.
probably polyester.
Yeah.
Engineered
Polyester blended.
polyester.
Not natural polyester.
So the lieutenant, the guy with 2 stripes, takes our money, and my cousins, who are younger than me, they
4 years.
4 years, they're skeptical. They're like, we probably shouldn't spend money on this because it's probably going to be horrible. And I'm like, no, guys, it's a ride. Rides are great. Like, this is going to totally. By the time this thing's done, like, it was supposed to be 40 minutes.
Holy fuck!
Yeah. Do they build it as a water taxi tour of the mall?
Around the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And just to check in at this point, knowing that this is what it was, you still felt, no, it's going to be a good expenditure.
I thought it'd
money.
be fun. It reminded me of like the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. Like it was the same concept as like you get on a boat, you go through a simulated. I thought there'd be like a simulated forest, or like maybe they'd have like Texas history, like robots.
But you knew that this whole thing just actually circumnavigated the mall.
Well,
on the outside,
here's the thing,
right?
Tom. We came into a parking lot on one side of the mall. I don't know what's on the other side of the mall. Maybe there's a tunnel you go through.
No, fair enough.
It's
fair
like the
enough. I feel
history
like
of-
you got kind of angry at me all of a sudden.
Without
I did.
without spoiling the story for any further, I just have one question. You can choose to answer now or later.
Sure.
As Tom says, does it actually circumnavigate the mall, or does it go through the mall at all? Is it like a? Is it an indoor-outdoor mall? Kind of like
It's not an indoor-outdoor mall, but I will say that I thought that it would be possible for I did not think that this engineered
channel.
I did not think that this was just like a giant like oval outside.
Okay.
I thought that this would probably go like indoors. It would be kind of cool to like ride a boat through a mall. I thought there'd be like maybe like a Pirates of the Caribbean sort of like, what do they call animatronics? You know, I thought.
Yeah. All right, fair.
Yeah,
You had high expectations.
Yeah, I
think
did.
reasonable.
Yeah, thank you. For $12, I assumed, right?
I mean, for $12, it's the right price where it's like it has to be good,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're
It's like
just
$6 is going to be
Because who would pay $12 to just go around a mall?
Who would charge $12?
Yeah.
Those monsters.
What's happening with this water taxi? I should also mention on the boat, you know those
The ship, really.
Yeah, the ship.
The vessel.
The air conditioners that are like built into windows.
Yes.
They had one of those on top of the white tarp. So it was this like air conditioning unit that was meant to be like pumping air into an apartment through a window, but it was just on top of the ship to keep, because it was so muggy and humid in Texas, and it was supposed to just blast air conditioned air down into the ship.
You need 120 volts to run those things, right?
I will say this:
a fair amount of amperage.
It didn't work well, and water was just condensation was constantly spilling out of it. So there was this seat. It was me, my cousins, and then like another couple from out of town sitting on these like
Obviously from out of town.
not a local,
no local.
not a local, like sitting on these white padded benches, and like there's just this stream of water coming out of this air conditioning unit that's like mounted to the top of this tarp, and it's just splattering onto one of the seats.
Okay.
So that should have been a red flag, I guess, but still, whatever. You could feel a little bit of the blast of cool air coming from it, the radius of cool air emitting from it. You could feel like the tail end of it. So we get in, the lieutenant doesn't come with us. He just takes the money, and then the captain takes off, starts driving, and he has like an intercom piece, and he's like,
How long is the boat?
man, it's probably, I'm really
And
bad
body
at
lengths.
I'm
body lengths.
bad at gauging in any kind of length, including body. I would say if Aaron were to lie on the ground, it'd be like, I guess like 4 Aarons long.
Oh, this is a big ass boat. This is a big pontoon boat.
Yeah. I mean, it was like they were expecting, I think, like hordes of people to be sitting on
How many
this
people
thing.
do you think it sat?
Probably like 30 comfortably.
Oh, this
wow.
is big. So you're in this with your 2 cousins and this other couple from out of town in this monstrous boat.
Well, you can also see why I thought that this would be quite the experience, because it's a big boat. It's like
a big boat,
this
yeah.
isn't a joke.
Yeah.
Like this is.
I'm just gonna put it on the table. We believe that you made a reasonable choice here. It's no longer an attack on your decision.
I still think it's an attack. I think it's a preemptive attack.
It's a very subtle attack. Now.
I think you're doing
Cold War.
I think you're doing a buffer war.
Yeah. Here's another question. I was really derailing this. Was there only the one boat?
Yes.
Okay,
there were not multiple boats.
What's crazy about now here's where I'd kind of get the question, because to think someone's gonna wait 40 minutes to be like, oh, I'll go on the next one, like that seems very unrealistic,
Right.
Unless it picks up people along the way.
It didn't.
Just stop.
It didn't. Let me tell you about the tour. So we start to go around, and he's got his intercom thing. I should mention too, there was a little PA system built into this boat.
How many speakers? I mean, was it just the one?
I don't remember. I think
It sounds like it probably could have 4. Like how big this thing
Now
was.
you're derailing.
it had to have just been one little speaker, realistically. So, but the boat was also loud, so you needed something to talk over the noise of the motor.
Why is that boat loud?
So it's like here's like what you hear. Hey everybody, welcome to the Texas Mall water taxi. And it also had a company too. Like there was a company name, like it was like Water Taxi Co. We'll just say for the purposes of this.
I'll bleep that later.
You have to remember that later. So it's
The one thing we have to remember is fake.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. My cousin's 4 years younger. So the boat is pulling around through this mechanized trench, engineered trench. And he's like, all right, you can see on the left, we've got a Macy's, and that's, they sell, and he just starts listing some examples of things a department store would sell. But also, it's just the side of Macy's. So it's a giant, like, beige brick wall with the Macy's sign on it. So that, like, we're actually, and as we're underway, I'm like, oh, wait. We're just getting a tour of the outside of the mall and being told what stores are inside of it. And then my cousins are like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know, but this is amazing. And like we were laughing. So it was so odd, or just awkward really, because there was this couple across from us who didn't really know why they were on it either. And then like three young men like making fun of it, actively mocking it and giggling. And this busted ass air conditioner and this man trying to like hold it together, talking into this
job
microphone.
Too. I don't know. Now I feel compassion for that man.
Have you worked this kind of a job before, Tom?
I probably have. Maybe that's why I have compassion.
this thing pulls around, and to cut this short, like all he does is just points to the mall, and it's just like, there's more store. There's another store. We've got a Hot Topic inside. We've got a Sam Goody inside. Like he's just talking about the stores, and then we start to sort of round this big corner. And there was a Kid Rock concert the night before in this big like lawn area behind the mall. And he goes, we had a Kid Rock concert last night. Sorry, guys. And there is just a field of garbage. So far this tour has consisted of
brick walls
and garbage trash
fields of garbage.
And he's like, he really made the community mad. He was so loud last night. And that field is just ruined. He was so upset. So then, as we pull around, there's some woods on the other. I should mention there's like the other side of this mall.
Sounds like a magical land.
It's a kind of an
woods
undeveloped area.
It sounds like the typical back of a mall. That's like, no one should.
The kind of thing that no one wants to get a tour of. Exactly.
That's the most interesting thing. Is like the side that no one's supposed to see,
right.
And every place has that. Even your home has it. The side of your house that you don't take care of, that you throw all your.
Imagine
crap.
Charging a neighbor $12 and then just talking about it for 40 minutes.
You want to see my side yard?
So we pull around more, and then we see there's some woods on the other side of the mall, and we keep looking at the other side of the mall because the other side of the mall is the fucking mall. It's bricks, and he's still talking about stores. So we keep looking off into the distance, and we see in these woods behind the mall, there's one of those like mobile offices. It's like one of those trailers, that's like an office, like at construction sites.
Yeah.
And there's a sign outside of it that's like Water Taxi Co. It's their office. This mobile thing in the backwoods behind the mall. That's
Did he point it out? Did he say, there's the headquarters of Water
He didn't
Taxi
point
Co.
it out, but it had the name of the water taxi as a sign outside of it.
But let me, I want to dig down on this, no pun intended, dig down on this trench. Because now all of a sudden I feel like the whole thing was an afterthought to the mall. Was it actually in ground, or was this an above ground?
I feel like it wasn't a mall. It was something else, some other like building that had a engineered channel.
And they're like, what can we use this for?
Yeah, put some water in it.
What year? So you're in college. So
it was 2004.
When was Enron? I wonder if this was like an Enron facility.
Do you think it was an Enron facility?
It's Houston. It adds up, guys.
Oh my God.
So then,
it adds up.
This is the best. We get around about 20 minutes in, and then he's like, and unfortunately, the trench is under construction. There are signs that stop us, like blockage. He has to stop the water taxi. He's like, so unfortunately, we can't finish the tour. But we're just going to pop it in reverse and take you back to the entrance. So then he puts the boat in reverse, and we have to go through the entire thing.
How far along
backwards.
were you in percentage, if 100% is the full loop?
50%.
Oh, so you got your money's worth. It's just you didn't get to see new stuff. You got to see Kid Rock's ruined
No,
field.
that's the thing. He took us back around. He's like, here's that Kid Rock concert again. God, I just can't believe I'm so disappointed.
I like a guy who's tied to his community. I mean, that's what a captain should be.
He just talks about Macy's again. Like he just talks about he's nothing else to talk about, so he just talks about the stores again. Then he takes us back around to the front, and then that was it. That was the end of the tour.
But let me ask you this: wasn't there some? I'll tell you, I don't know why. There's some enjoyment of just being on a stupid boat,
and
floating. Like there's still some value to that, even though you're basically in a ditch that goes around a mall.
I had a great time being on that thing. I did. I felt like a ride, and it was also so funny and so dumb and so much fun to make fun of that it was actually. I love this memory. Like,
do you think they in that little shack that was their headquarters, they broke down their demographic? We'll get the out of towners who just want to take a break, get off their feet. And then we'll get ironic tourists who have
young asshole comedians who
those are our two.
Want a Mystery Science Theater this thing.
I was thinking the real purpose of this is I would like to think that there is a grandmother, like a younger grandmother with her daughter and grandchild, who go to this mall whenever, but they always go on the trench tour first as a way to get excited of what they're going to shop about.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh, a Macy's, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, like maybe they're from like Dallas. They're coming into Houston.
Well, there's somebody, I want to believe there's a family out there that became like, on Thanksgiving, we go to the...
we do.
I bet they got a great Christmas light thing going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, cool. you could for holidays, around the engineered channel, you could put you could do like a little haunted haystack thing. You could do Christmas lights.
You guys, have we decided that we're going to go buy this corporation?
Yeah, I decided that well before I was friends with you.
Now we're arguing about the ownership rights.
No, I just think like I think you're right, Aaron, in that there must be some old women who are like, before you go in the mall, you have to get the tour to see what stores you want to go
at
to.
work in you, Ben Lepley. It can be anyone who's excited about the mall.
No, an old man would never do that, nor would a young man, except for me, or a young woman, except for that other lady that was on it.
Oh my God!
Anyway,
that's amazing though. I love it though because it's just trying to make something out of nothing. You know, this is a really junky area.
Hey, look,
we're gonna just spit shine.
That's entrepreneurialism. I feel like you're right. I feel like that channel, whatever that weird channel was, I feel like it was probably there. They turned it into something, and you know what? They made $36 off of my family, so whatever. Like, although they did have to pay the captain.
The gas would be expensive.
The captain's union fees, the water taxi union fee.
That's right.
Does he have to steer this thing at all?
Oh, I'd love it if it's just banged against the sides. Oh.
It's just scraping, sparks everywhere, smoke.
That's what I would do. I would make it to save costs. There's no captain. We put you on. We put a brick on the gas pedal, and away you go.
I bet this was actually engineered for the reason that Houston gets so hot. They needed water, a lot of water in the area, and they couldn't build a lake. So this actually cools the mall.
I don't think this trench was wide enough to cool the mall. I really don't.
Any amount of water. I mean, that's a lot of water if it goes all the way around a mall. Tom, you got to back me up here.
I'm going to back you up. This is a sound project Aaron has laid out.
Well, it's like Silver Lake.
I want to point out though.
What do you mean it's like Silver Lake? Silver Lake is a reservoir that holds the drinking water for the city.
I'm just saying that cools that area by. Yes, it does.
You think it cools the area?
I've heard for so many years that cools there.
It doesn't cool the area.
It's always 5 degrees cooler when you're around that lake.
You know.
You're telling me it's not cooler near the water. You're telling me you go to Santa Monica.
It's cooler near the ocean, the Pacific.
Is a giant heat. It's just as the temperature sink, it stabilizes temperature.
So mall compared to
Here, listen.
Let's give it to him.
Listen. So when I say 40, this is also deceiving. When I say 40 minutes, it's not because it's big. It's 40 minutes because the boat is going so terribly slow.
So you're using that to say like it isn't a large amount of water.
It's like,
how deep is it?
Like 4 feet.
4 feet?
No, not 4 feet. I mean, like, well, it's like
how many errands?
It's about an
half
Aaron.
an Aaron.
It's like an Aaron's forearm deep. No, it's like it's like okay, take your arm from shoulder to fingertip. That's how deep.
3
it is.
hours. It's 3 hours long.
3 hours. Three hours deep.
Which I do
a snail speed going across my arm.
That's what I do. I only think in time relative to snails. So that's 3 feet. It's let's just say it's 8 feet wide. Let's say it's 24 feet area, and then like let's say 25 feet. You do the math.
I won't
multiply by its
I won't
length,
do the math.
and then we can get the number of gallons. You guys,
someone tweet us the answer. That'll prove that no one's listening to this. No one's made it through Ben's cousin age description.
That's great.
Cool. Thanks. Tom's role today is just to review the stories. That's why he's here. So
I'd give that one a B for Ben.
Yeah, you always score higher than I will.
Well, I might get a C, but at worst, I can never. You'll get like an L, which is like a made-up letter in the grading scale.
Yeah, Tom.
I do love the idea. It's like that's what we have. We have this mall. We have this trench. There's nothing else going on in this town. We're gonna make the best of it, and we don't have money to do.
I don't mean that. I don't mean this a mean way. You've said that like 5 times, and I feel like you have something going on in your life right now where you need to make the best of something. What's going on with you right now?
I grew up in not huge towns, and I don't know. I just always appreciate
playing the world's tiniest violin.
Yeah, that's all we had in our town. A tiny violin. That's the only instrument we could have.
Oh, that snail price played it.
That's exactly why too. We didn't have rulers. We only measured distance in snail time.
Aaron, can you tell your story?
So I just feel that that's a good. I'm gonna put my flag in the stand before you steamroll over me.
Much like,
say, I think it's admirable. The human spirit makes the best of what they have. Screw you guys.
Much like you were in agreement with me and not attacking me that I thought the ride was going to be good. I'm in agreement with you and not attacking you that I think that's a very nice sentiment.
Nice. That's so enough. That's in this year, whatever year it is right now. That just means stupid.
Oh, okay.
That's a nice sentence.
Guys, another theory on what it's for. Maybe they have vast water issues, and they needed a better way to expel the water out of but they couldn't pipe it. They needed an open channel.
And they've trans-evaporated off?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing, guys.
Makes sense.
It's sort of like what the LA River's for.
So there's some nefarious cause behind it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that there's probably a double reason.
Yeah, it's probably like a city thing, like it's like sewage water or some shit. That's probably why it smelled like shit the whole time. It smelled like a river of feces and the water was. I mentioned that the water was brown and had turds in it.
No, it's probably deep.
How did I forget that? I was busy describing the boat.
The white boat with the white captain's outfit.
Your cousin's ages. All right, so I got a good one from college as well. Absolutely has nothing to do with it.
I wouldn't call that a college story.
I'm just saying from that era. So this is actually 2006 because I looked it up.
So what song should people be playing in the background as they listen to this?
That's a good question.
Dirty Little Secret?
Actually, it was probably a big All-American Rejects year.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine. Mm-hmm. Tom, do you remember what was on the hit chart in 2006?
I don't listen to your popular music.
All right, what's on your horrible music then?
What jazz were you listening to in 2006?
What acid jazz group was I into
Pat
at the
Metheny.
I don't know. I measure distance in snail time. Like time, I can't remember anything.
Course.
I have no placement in time.
This is 84 snails ago.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So this is 2006, and as I often do in college, I used to go to the University of Iowa. Mm-hmm. Then that next year was when I turned 21, and also when I started going to the University of Northern Iowa. That's where Ben went. Mm-hmm. And so my old roommate, Brad, who Ben and Brad have quite the relationship.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they went to...
No, I want you to leave it at that.
All right.
Don't go into it. They have quite the relationship.
I think you know exactly what I mean, Ben.
Well, I don't think Brad and I care for each other. I think...
I just think the history of you guys, the fact that you went to elementary school together, and then you actually went to college together for a while, and high school, obviously, all the way up through high school.
Yeah.
But, and then college for that year, and then... because then Brad followed me to Iowa more or less. He didn't follow me to Iowa, but you left.
No, you said it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going there either. We both agreed. We're like, let's go to Iowa next year. So we went to Iowa, and then I decided to go follow Ben to UNI, and Brad was left blowing in the breeze at the University of Iowa. So, anyways, it was his 21st birthday weekend. Mm-hmm. And as you can imagine, 21st birthday is pretty exciting, especially in Iowa City. Do you remember your 21st birthday, Tom?
Yes, I do.
That's good. That's real good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at Brad's. It's his 21st birthday, but this is like a Thursday night. And his birthday was it might have actually been that night, but I went up a day early because he had a party or something he was going to do the next day. But I was like, oh, I'm a good friend. I'll come a day early.
Yeah.
That was either a horrible mistake or an amazing mistake. I was glad I was there, but you guys really have no idea what I'm talking about, do I? So Brad and I started taking shots and getting drunk early in the night.
Sure, this is an American tradition.
Right.
I'm glad you're supporting it.
Our international audience is going to be very confused.
Yeah, they're like, what's the deal with 21st? Yeah, go on.
And we had plans to meet up with a few of my friends that are actually, we all went to high school with these girls. It was like Michelle, Jennifer, and their friend
So right
Ashley.
now the night is charged with potential as you meet up these ladies later in your buddy's 21st birthday.
Exactly. And you can go to these bars in Iowa City where you get like, for $21, you get 21 pitchers of beer. Mm-hmm. And that's the 21. I mean, the five of us were going to try to take down 21 pitchers of beer.
Yeah.
Or you could get 4 times that amount of mixed drinks. So you get 84 mixed drinks for $21.
That to me is crazy. Like, isn't there
Oh,
more?
No,
yeah.
you think it's crazy because even in LA, where mixed drinks are $17 a pop, but in reality, a mixed drink costs about 45 cents to make.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm so angry at LA now. You know how much money I've spent.
well, and the fact that a pitcher of beer was $1, I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's just, I mean, that pitcher filled 4.5 cups every time. So that's just like
When you think about
a
it-
quarter of beer.
When you think about like a cocktail glass that has a little bit of orange juice in it and a little bit of hard liquor and a little bit of spritzer, like that's a mixed drink. That costs, that's not even 45 cents.
I feel, though, with the goals you have at that point, which is obviously to get intoxicated with alcohol, which I'm not approving for anyone, although
Of course
I
not.
have done that occasionally, that it sounds like the mixed drink is a better economic deal. For like, they're going to give you 84 mixed drinks,
Honestly-
and I'd say skip the mixed part of it. Just give me those
But
drinks.
Tom, if you take the 45 glasses, right? It's 45.
Yeah.
You take the
glasses of
45
beer.
glasses.
Oh, wait. 45 glasses.
You said
No,
85
glasses.
84
Pardon me,
glasses.
84. If you take the 84 glasses of mixed drink and you remove the alcohol from them and put them into bottles, you really only have about 2 bottles.
But for how much money?
$21.
See, that's still a pretty good deal, Ben.
Well, here, there's also
That's a
another.
ripping deal at a bar.
There's
I think.
another part of this where you could, like, it was a punch card. So you could
I
get
have to-
4
I also-
mixed drinks punch. You could get 4
I have
beer
to also,
punch.
this points to this bizarro college culture of drinking where a bar is engineered around like, hey, you want an economic way to get hammered? We actually have frequent flyer cards. And we wonder why we have a booze problem. I'm not saying booze problems are bad. I'm just saying, go on. Sorry.
So that was like the plan for the night, and it got a little sidetracked. Maybe around 8 o'clock in the evening, we had already had dinner and whatever, and we were probably going to go out around 10. Around 8 o'clock, though, it starts getting a little dark, a little stormy. And as
What do you mean by that? It's like people are, he's ahead of schedule?
No.
his drinking
Literally
tour?
outside gets dark and stormy.
Yeah, because you're such a good storyteller, I thought might
Right.
be like a nice metaphor.
So
He got a little dark and stormy.
So
if
it's-
you catch my drift.
So it starts to rain a little bit, and it starts to get a little windy, and we're like, "Oh, great! Like this is gonna."
This is Iowa.
This is Iowa.
This is like where storms aren't
no.
California storms, aren't Seattle storms. They're devastating storms if they do.
They can. So it's just like, oh, this could last all night. This could be really annoying because we have
Right.
to walk to the bar,
Right.
And let's put a damper on the night in general. And like girls don't typically they'll melt because they're made of sugar and that type of thing. Like they
Yeah.
won't come out to the bar,
Right. So this is
And if
putting a
they
damper on the whole
age out too much, they want to go on stupid water taxis before they get fucking women. God.
So we started just kind of like going outside and like kind of watching the weather. That's a very Iowa thing to do, but it's just like it felt really good outside. It was April. It was cool.
Yep, feels good. Yep, April. Yep, ready to go get
And
your 21st birthday.
All of
Yeah.
a sudden,
am.
we start to hear sirens, like tornado sirens. And we're like, oh, this is crazy. It's like this happens all the time. Tornado sirens constantly.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah. Like, I would say
man, yes,
probably
constantly.
at least 4 times a year, at least, wherever you
I'd
are.
say it's as common as the locusts on a summer night chirping.
I don't have a reference to the commonality of a locust.
Or like crickets. Like,
Oh, okay.
and then you hear like,
So do you take them seriously, or you're like,
no, that's the thing.
No.
Don't take them seriously at
Ugh.
all.
There's such a what a pain. Fucking tornado warnings. Nothing ever happens.
until it happens.
Oh, there's our grandfather clock. Anyways.
The clock always chimes when Ben says a bad thing that is about to turn on him.
And so, I'm sorry, the clock is making me cry. So we were like we were taking shots outside, and one of Brad's neighbors came out, and he was like, "Oh, that's stupid." It's like, "Oh, Thursday night, how dumb." Like the fact that there was a tornado warning. It was like annoying all of us. And then we started getting like phone calls and texts, and it was like, get in the basement. And we're like, get out. Well, no. It was like the 3 girls were like, we're in the basement. It's like, oh, you're in a sorority. That's like sorority protocol. You have to go to the basement. I was like, we're in an apartment. There's no basement. I was like, we're just fending for ourselves. But I was like, oh, they're over-exaggerating. And I'm not kidding you. 2 minutes later, we see a door just fly by us.
Are you kidding me? Are you guys outside or inside?
We're outside. It was about... I mean, it was a ways off, like 400, 500, 600 yards, but literally a door. And then
How many snails is that?
Oh, that is countless snails. And we saw a bunch of Tyvek siding just like wispily, like float in the sky. And we're like, huh, well, that's new. And at that point, we were still like, that's just the wind.
Are you kidding me?
And then all of a sudden, like, you hear like this, I mean, they call it a train, but that's only when you're like right next to it. But like this hum, and you're like, what is that? And you're like, oh, these texts are true. That is, and like the reason why they stopped is because like a cell phone tower has gone down.
Oh my God.
So there is a tornado that like we're probably a quarter mile, no, more than that, like a half mile to a mile away. But like the heart of it it actually rips apart like an old Dairy Queen. It was like
that damn.
It was like the Dairy Queen.
For a town in Iowa, that's a big deal.
Well, it was like the Dairy Queen across the river. So like, and it tore apart like a car dealership. Then it like made its way through town. And like, there's a lot of buildings, so a lot was stopping it. But then like, it kind of hit
What do you mean a lot was stopping it? It's a tornado. Nothing stops a tornado.
Well, I know, but the wind kind of like slows. Brick buildings will slow it down a little bit. But once it gets to an open area is where it really does destruction.
Okay.
So then it hits like a park. And this park was like definitely walking distance from Brad's place. And it just destroys this park. And the reason why we know that is after it got done, like the power went out, like everything was down, and we're like, oh fuck, and like we're texting, and we're like, the girls are like, the bars are closed, and we're like, God damn it. So we were pissed because like this tornado totally ruined our night. But what we also decided was this probably is going to ruin our weekend because who knows how long the power is going to be out. So selfish.
And that stupid car dealership probably went out of business because their dumb cars got ruined.
Oh yeah. Well, that was afterwards.
stupid.
There was a whole bunch of like after tornado sales, like the hail sale.
Really?
There was a lot of
wow.
like damage sales. So, but often I think a lot of them went for insurance.
But wait. Well, these things are flying by, and the tornado's destroying the car dealership and crossing the river and destroying the park. Were you guys outside this whole time, still debating?
We were outside. Well, we were outside when all that was happening. We actually never did.
What is going through your head? Well, I have 2 questions. 1, what were you thinking? 2, where do you go in an apartment during a tornado? Is it like, let's go to the kitchen? It's the safe.
Did you know that Iowa apartments, they actually do have like basements, but they're incredibly creepy, and there's like where all this crap is stored, and no one knows how to get to them.
That's the thing. There was probably something we could get. We just didn't know how.
No, I just saying, like, it's interesting that like a landlord, when you're like coming into your new apartment in Iowa for the first time, is never like, also if there's a tornado, we have a basement. Here's how you access it.
But they have to have one. Is that kind of like
they don't have to have one, but they do because every building in Iowa, like, just everybody has basements. It's crazy. So it's just like
Midwest thing.
Yeah, it's a Midwest thing. So I just find it interesting that like landlords, though, I mean, in the apartments in Iowa that I've lived in, the landlord has never been like, here's how you, in case of tornado, here's how you get to the apartment's basement. It's like, oh no, you don't want to go down there. That doesn't belong to you, and that's where we keep the mops. Like
all the mops.
You mean the mop apartment? You got a family of mops living.
You know,
don't bother.
Rent that shit out. Like turn half of the basement into apartments. Then take a water taxi through it. It's all these money making.
So you watch these. You had no place to go.
We stayed outside the entire time.
You're kidding me.
And then
because you're a fool.
Because we continued to take shots, and so then it clearly ended. Like the siren ended, and we're like, oh, let's go.
Because it got ripped down by the tornado.
Yeah, no. That's actually an interesting thing. What happens
when
the siren goes down?
Well, the sub siren.
Oh, the basement siren.
At that point, you don't need a notification. Of
right.
Tornadoes here, right? Yeah.
So
I would love to hear like the crunch, and somebody being like, "Oh yeah, the tornado. It must be over. The siren's done."
So we started to walk around the town and assess the damage, and we actually
Not helping anyone.
You're a first responder.
Yeah.
I love it. The three drunk dudes, first responders.
Holy shit!
Well, that's
man.
the thing. So much of that, so many people in that town were actually already drunk that like it was kind of hard to control what was happening next. Which was
How
like
many people live in that town?
120,000.
Lots.
And so
That's so 2006.
I know. And so we like went to like we just walked down the streets, and the closer you got, like you could clearly see like the trail where it went through. And we started out.
Did it make a trench?
It did, sort of. Mini trench. We went through this old park, and like all these like really old like 200-300-year-old trees were like knocked down.
That sucks.
And actually, Brooke Palmer, the interesting thing about her, we found her. Just like, no, we didn't like find her. We came across her.
You can't.
We came across her.
You came across
phrase
her.
it like
Also
that?
sounds worse. You came across her sounds like it's a.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I saw Brooke Palmer a couple of years ago, and I imagined that you found her mangled body in 2006. But how you said that?
No, what happened apparently is that the house she was living in got destroyed. So she got out fine. But meanwhile, her sorority house also got destroyed. They were one of the two. And actually, it was like the.
So that year she had to live on the streets.
No, that was
Yeah,
the thing.
point
like,
is, you
like
found a
both
lady
places,
who needed a woman who needed a place to stay that night.
So both places were like decimated, and it was like the only person you could relate. It was like, oh, like both. I had two options, and they're both gone. But so like we went through this park, trees, and we started going downtown, which is and that's where a lot of people were, and like the power was out everywhere. Cops were trying to like there was like National Guard was there. It was just crazy, and we saw one of the weirdest things that we had ever seen. Now, during the Iowa ISU games, which is like a big in-state rivalry for football, people would flip cars sometimes. Well, what we saw was a few cars that tornadoes had flipped over, but it was really funny. It's like they chose the more expensive cars.
Nice.
Because there was like a SUV, like an old like Camry, and then like a flipped over Mercedes. It literally just flipped over. And then like another like flipped over like, like a newer car. And then like another car that was upright. Like it chose those two just
I like this tornado all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a real...
Did it take any lives? Did it take any lives?
I don't actually think it did. No,
Good. I like this
probably
tornado a lot
wrong.
now. Like this is a friendly tornado coming through and just reminding people what counts.
Did you know that if a car from a dealership gets flung like over, it's like 40 yards or something from the dealership, you can actually take it?
This is a fact. Only people in Iowa know.
Yeah.
Because like everywhere else, who's
It's
gonna
fair
fling a
game.
gun? But it has to be flung
'cause
though.
it's-
You can't just get a tow truck
It's
and pull it.
it's
It
a
has to be
weird
flung.
combination of act of God, and then it's like not on their lot anymore, and it's like it's free to like if you can find it, you can take it.
Is that true for anybody's car? So
No,
my
I'm totally making that
Oh
up.
my god! I was like, we have to move during tornado season and just collect cars.
I just love seeing you in this entrepreneurial mode. And I thought maybe I could get one more
that's my-
Tom like flim flam scam out of
That's my business plan. Oh, yeah, every year spring I take a bunch of army tow trucks out to Iowa. We just collect.
I'm able to live off it for the rest of the year.
I spray paint a 40-yard radius around every.
Actually, I have an interesting story that is true like that real quick. In downtown Des Moines in like the 50s, there was a jewelry store that like there was a gas explosion and literally diamonds went in every direction. I am not kidding. And to this day, you could feasibly still find them.
They're like in the asphalt.
for those years later. Like you could definitely like find diamonds and like they couldn't. Like, people would
This
just
was in
take
that
them.
same town.
No, different town. The capital, Des Moines.
Yeah.
So, were you living in Des Moines at the time?
It was in the 50s.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
were you living in Des Moines at the time?
Sort of.
I don't know. I don't understand.
feasibly, there. I mean, what he's saying. I'm assuming this is what you mean. We should all move back there because feasibly, there are still a few loose diamonds from that explosion kicking around.
I'm telling you, that's right. Spring is car harvesting. Fall is diamond harvesting season in Iowa. That's what I do. I vacation here in L.A.
When can you please have just like a giant like reaper scythe when you find the cars? Like it's time to harvest.
Yeah.
So
I'm busy running through the financials of this new business model we came up with.
to finish the old
How much is
tornado
it to
tale,
rent this
guys.
set? Yeah.
Basically, all that. I mean, not much more than that happened. We just like, kind of like witnessed the destruction, which was immense, and like an old church went down. It was crazy. But what I thought was the funniest part of the night, which I told people for years after. Now I'm telling you guys because it's now the dumbest thing that I can tell about this story. I thought it was so funny because I was so drunk. But we were across the street. And then all of a sudden, this National Guardsman was like, "You gotta go home." And we tried to cross the street, and he goes, "You can't cross the street." And I was like, "Well, wait a minute." And then
always good to argue with a guy with a gun. Go.
He goes, "No, you can't cross the street." I was like, "But you're telling us to go home." And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you understand what you're telling us right now? That we can't go home?" And like the whole time, Brad and I were just like, "This is so much." So we started to run across the street. It's not like he's going to stop us. There were so many people, but he like chose us for whatever reason. And then he goes,
"Because you're drunk college kids."
So then he goes, "Son, I'm going to need you to walk home." And he was like really authoritative. But like
wow, no horseplay either,
and
everybody.
I was like, geez, man. But then in my mind, I was like, I don't even live here. I live in Cedar Falls. And I go,
so you don't know.
I have a home.
So
I
I was
need
like-
you to walk to a Hilton.
I go, "Sir, that's 70 miles away." And I look at Brad, and I know that he is like laughed for the pity of it, but I thought it was so funny. And we met up with the girls later that night. We actually had like a candle. It was candlelit, but it sounds
dinner.
a lot more romantic. We were just drinking and playing like card games around a candle at Brad's.
What card game were you playing? Euchre?
Kings and Assholes, or whatever it's called. Presidents and Assholes, I think.
Oh, right.
So I told all of them that story, and they're like,
Nice one, Aaron.
"Yeah, you got
High
him
five you.
good."
I can almost see you doing it with that shit-eating grin too. I'd have to walk 70 miles.
Yeah, it was awful.
I want to like make this a movie, and as you were telling the story with the candles and the card game, it then cuts to that man at his home, and he's just weeping because he has no one there, and all I can think about is your burn.
And he's all, "I couldn't save any of them."
Well, actually, I think, and honestly, if we were real men and lived real manly lives, your story would have started like, "Yeah, there was a hurricane. Then we're playing cards with ladies and with candles." That's where the story
I really
would have
dusted
started.
over that. And
Yeah.
The whole tornado thing was just like the weird prologue.
A setup to
Yeah.
like why, yeah. So that's the way. I don't know. Sorry, that wasn't your story. Boy, I brought it down.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Well, thanks for coming, Tom. It's great to have you back.
Wait.